morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome. Here I am, yay. Here you are. It's great to see all of you today. I'm Bonnie Rose. I'm the minister of this beautiful spiritual center, and thank you so much for joining us this Sunday as we celebrate Spirit together. Let's all stand up together and sing our first kind of jazzy song here, When the Saints Go Marching in honor of our practitioners who are saints. And here we go. First of all, let me just invite you all to give a round of applause for our practitioners. And you can please be seated. Thank you. So this is actually, we actually have a few more practitioners. Some of them could not be here because of work commitments or family commitments. We have one outreach practitioner that serves in a different community, and another outreach practitioner that also serves part-time in another community and part-time here. So some of you may be wondering what a practitioner is, and really what they are is they are the healing arms of our spiritual center, that they anchor themselves in spiritual practice and pray in service of the congregation. Their role is to know the spiritual truth of wholeness for everyone, to know that every single person sitting in these chairs, or every single person that crosses through the threshold of the spiritual center, or even the whole world, that everything is grounded in the wholeness that is love and that is God. And really, their primary function here is to pray and to serve humbly and helpfully wherever needed. So I'm going to do a ritual with them just to rededicate their commitment to serving all of us, all of you. And it starts with a reading. I'm going to say, licensed practitioners are people who have dedicated their hearts and minds to spiritual service. It is the practitioner's business to uncover love hidden in wholeness in every person and to reveal truth about all beings. To reach this stage has taken years of dedicated study and personal growth. As practitioners, you have chosen a pathway in life that is rich and filled with spiritual discoveries. To serve as a professional practitioner is to lead those who look to you for spiritual guidance into an acceptance of the wholeness of spirit in all things. And for this work, you are well prepared. Your deep understanding of principle, of human nature, your compassion is called upon by those who look to you for the living demonstration of our teaching. So all of you, except for the three in the back, but you can take these dedications too, the two in the back. We have three practitioners in training, and two of them are here. But you're welcome to take these vows too, because your time is coming. Okay. So you are licensed practitioners, and therefore it is right and fitting that you rededicate your alignment and your allegiance to the center in whose name you will perform your healing art. As practitioners of religious science for the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living, do you recommit yourself to the following? Do you promise to anchor the VCSL vision with prayer, revealing wholeness in all things? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Do you promise to wholeheartedly practice principles of loving kindness everywhere? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Do you promise to serve humbly and helpfully? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Do you promise to deliberately cultivate insight and self-care? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Do you promise to be love, share love, and serve love? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. We're married now, just so you know. Okay. No, I know. So on a more serious note, you have joined together in an act of dedication, which is an outward expression of the inner conviction that we share. And you've already made this conviction with your soul. So through this consecration, you place yourself in a special relationship with our beautiful congregation and with the world at large as well. You know the truth, and you reveal truth to all who seek it, so they too may know the truth and be free. And now it's your turn to marry the practitioners. So the congregation, I'm going to ask you some vows too. Behold the practitioners of the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. Do you promise to honor them, respect them, and lean on them? If so, please say, we do. Thank you. Will you acknowledge them as the healing arm of the center? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Will you too be love, share love, and serve love in your relationship with our practitioners? If so, please say, we do.
We do.
Thank you so much. I wanted to let you know that after the service, the practitioners are always delighted to pray for you. I'll be talking a little bit more about what they do during the message. But also, after the service, there is cake in there to honor our practitioners. So one more thing. Let us have the youth stand up too, because we're going to go ahead and dismiss the youth to their classrooms. And if everybody on stage and everybody in the congregation and everybody in the choir loft would please repeat after me. We love you. We bless you. We believe in you. You are the face of God. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Let us be still, turn within, and know the power and the presence of the one love that connects everything. As we breathe together and go deeper and listen to the words of our sacred reading.
A holy realm that lives in us. A poem by Rumi. If you put your hands on this oar with me, they will never harm another. And you will come to find they hold everything you want. If you put your hands on this oar with me, they will no longer lift anything to your mouth that might wound your precious land, that sacred earth that is your body. If you put your soul against this oar with me, the power that made the universe will enter your sinews from a source not outside your limbs, but from a holy realm that lives in us. Exuberant is existence. Time is a husk. When the moment cracks open, ecstasy leaps out and devours space. Love goes mad with blessings, like my words give. Why lay yourself on the torturer's rack of the past and future? The mind that tries to shape tomorrow beyond its capacities will find no rest. Be kind to yourself, dear, to our innocent follies. Forget any sounds or touch you knew that did not help you dance, and you will come to see that all evolves us. If you put your heart against this earth with me, in serving every creature, our beloved will enter you from our sacred realm, and we will be happy. We will be so happy.
And let us breathe in and breathe out into the spirit of the beloved, whatever it is we choose to call it, whether it's love or spirit or higher power, whether it's God or absolute reality, whether it's the essence that created the world, whatever it is, we trust that we are part of it and it is part of us. And so we breathe and we remember that one of the names of this being is I am. The wholeness and the holiness, the beauty and the power that comes forth when we remember. We touch the hem of that sacred garment now as we sing together, I am remembering who I am. I am May our sacred practice of zikr, self-remembrance, may we use this work to not only bless ourselves, but to bless all beings. Let us continue this work as we breathe in deeply and then exhale, opening our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is. as the choir is taking its seats, I just want to do a couple of acknowledgments. First of all, our beautiful violinist came to us by wonderful ways. This is Vanessa, so let's give her some love. Thank you. We're talking about that more. And then Fred Mondragon and I had a little miscommunication about when he was going to speak. I wanted him to speak at the beginning of the sermon because I want to continue throughout this service, continue to acknowledge the beautiful theme and message of our beloved practitioners, not just in the ceremony, but throughout. So I'm going to ask Fred to come up now, and he is going to say a few, I'll do it. He's going to say a few words to us. Fred is one of 3 practitioner emeriti that we have. That means that they have served devotedly for 20 years consistently, and that they have been recommended by me to be practitioner emeriti. So let's give some love to Fred. There we go.
After that choir, this is a beautiful place to be, folks. Anyway, the story starts with you, the congregation, with us, because all of the practitioners and the ministers started out there with you and saw value in what we teach and what we do here and stepped forward. And we have myself and my wife Karen, who's going to be a minister, and Mike are the 21. We've been on around for 21 years. Then we have Gail. Is Gail here? We have Gail and Kathy and Chris. They're going into Prac 1, so the story goes on. So and all of them in between. And so what I wanted to say was, when I was told to come up here, she told me I had 3 minutes. So I had to think practitioners in 3 minutes. So anyway, I had a month to think about it, but I came up with 6 action words that kind of say what we do, okay? Now after these practitioners get out of good training, there are 3 things that they do on their journey. And as a practitioner, we're mandated to listen, to teach, and to pray. So if you come up for prayer after church, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be listening, teaching, and praying. And what do we mean when we say pray? Well, we do an affirmative prayer here. It is both a science and an art. It's a science because it sets a form that sets our intent, that sets our mind towards our intention, and it's an art because each prayer is a prayer unto itself. So when you get a prayer up here from somebody, that prayer is unique between you and them, and it's a wonderful experience to have. So come up and check it out. And so the second 3 acts, listen, teach, and pray. The second 3 things, active things that we do, is we are active, which means you see us scurrying around here doing stuff. Loyal, and when I loyal, I think, to me, it's loyal to my own beliefs, to my own belief system. And supportive, that means we're supportive. We want to make this work, okay? So that's kind of what we do. Does that kind of make sense to you? But to me, what the payoff to me after all these years is the honor and the privilege of being able to have be able to pray with you guys. Because if you imagine the 20 years of praying with people, and I was talking to my wife, maybe hundreds of people I prayed with, how much is my life better for that? And so I'm thankful to you guys and come up and ask practitioner stuff because we're glad to tell our story. So that's all I got.
Fred and all of our practitioners are treasures, and we're so grateful. Thank you. Now, did you say that I made you come up here? I believe I asked. I didn't force you to come up here. Yeah, no, I made you do the 3 minutes. Yeah, that's right. That's me. Now that I own, right? Okay, so I'm going to start by telling a story, and we'll see how it fits in or not later on. This is a story from the writings of Alan Cohen, and Alan Cohen tells the story about a gentleman who was working in a railroad yard. And in this railroad yard, they hauled a lot of products and stuff, so they had a refrigerator car for meat and for produce and that kind of thing. So this railroad man went in to do some repair inside the car. And while he was there, unfortunately, the door slammed shut behind him, and he couldn't get out. The next day, sadly, some people were looking for him. They went to find him. They went into the car, and there he was. He had passed away. And they said that by his lifeless body, he had scrawled into the floor with a penknife. He had written, "Getting cold, getting colder, frozen, freezing." What it turned out to be, though, is that the car was not even working. There was no refrigeration. It was the power of his mind that believed that he was locked in a refrigerator car that made the normal evening coolness believe that he was dying in that refrigerator car. And I believe that that is where the saying came from, "Many are cold, but few are frozen." Yeah. Walk, walk, walk. Yeah. Yeah. Where's Rex when you need him? Yeah. Yeah, that scared me. It was feeling like kind of a downer. It's like, you really want to start the service? Oh, okay, good. The punchline saved me. Right. Yeah. But seriously, why tell that story in a service about practitioners and invisible service is the title of this talk? And really, the reason that I told it is that although many of us are cold and few of us are frozen, really it seems more to me like many of us are cold and many of us are frozen. We are frozen in belief systems that no longer serve us. We are frozen in limitation, in a perceived limitation, and we fail to recognize that it is simply our perception, even if it seems really real. Do you know who's telling you who it's really real? Mostly yourself. Sometimes the media, but mostly yourself is telling you that it's really real, arguing for the sake of the limitation. That's something that we do really, really well. And so we're here today to look at that, and to see if we can stretch into something better, rather than limiting life with our beliefs because we believe what we see, right? No, we see what we believe, thank you. We see what we believe versus believing what we see. We can stretch our belief system to encompass a greater view of reality. That is the basic science of mind teaching, is that our thought or our perception creates our experience of reality. That's what that V stands for in the symbol, right? A lot of people think it's for Ventura. I think it's for Vishla, which is the kind of dog I have, but that's another story. It means that, my husband saw it and he thought it meant Allah, right? It means that thought descends and creates something in the form and then goes up to create more and more and more. There's a cycle of creation going on all the time. So that's what we teach here, and that's what we're exploring today in terms of welcoming a greater perception of reality and a greater way of being in the world, not only being in the world, but of being in service to the world. We don't have to believe the limited beliefs that we've held onto forever, okay? Even if we've held them for a really long time, we don't have to believe them anymore. We can just let them go and believe something better. Choose the better story. Choose the story that is more aligned with truth, because the truth cannot operate in a lie. And we are lying about the nature of reality all the time. The nature of reality is wholeness. But we'll get there in a minute. Let's take it slow. I want to talk a little bit about a better belief. One of my nephews likes to argue with me about a lot, everything. And because I'm a minister, he likes to argue with me about God. He's an atheist, and I love atheists. I think of, if there is a God, because we all doubt from time to time, right? If there is a God, maybe he's laughing at the atheist saying, "Oh, you're so cute when you're an atheist." No, but the response to atheists is generally complete respect, because I can understand why some people don't believe in the God that's been perpetrated by religion, right? Anybody? Yeah, right. So, to ask an atheist, tell me about the God you do not believe in, and I probably don't believe in that God either, right? Don't believe in a dogmatic, judgmental guy wearing a loincloth, chucking thunderbolts, right? My nephew asked me, "What do you believe in?" And without even thinking about it, the first thing that I said was the compost cycle. Don't get too excited over there, Norm. The compost cycle. You know, I cultivated my belief in the compost cycle, first of all, because I am married to a composting king who, when we first started composting, I would accidentally throw an eggshell into the garbage can, and he'd walk over to it and call me over and go, because evidently an eggshell is a really good thing. But I grew to love composting and swear by it because, you know, another thing that ministers get to do is that we do memorials. And I consulted with a book by Ernest Holmes, our founder, about how you do a memorial. And it said in that little book by Ernest Holmes that what the people really want to know is that you believe in life after death. And that you believe that the death does not end, that the person doesn't end with the body. And so I looked at that within myself, and I said, did you really believe that? Do you really believe that? Can you stand in a memorial and say that with conviction? And then I thought about the compost cycle. Oh my gosh, the compost cycle is life after death. Food decays and becomes matter, and the compost and the bacteria eat it, and then it turns into life-giving soil, and it creates flowers and more food for everyone. Are you excited like me about that? That's a miracle. That's a miracle. So I believe in the compost cycle because I think it's a metaphor for human existence, that we continue always, that we are constantly recycling and changing forms. Another thing that I believe in is something that I learned from our good friend Nipun Mehta, who is the founder of this organization called Service Space, that is a global service organization, and he's had a huge influence on this spiritual center. I was there working with him last weekend up in Marin County. Nipun Mehta speaks often of the mycelium network. You guys know what that is? Mycelium network. It's an underlying network that is fungal, and it allows plants to communicate with other plants that are far away. It's kind of like the internet for plants, right? They can know if this plant is sick and take precautions over here. The biology of the plant knows what to do. It's so cool. It's all over the earth. It's spread all over the earth, and it's invisible service. And the metaphor for this is that when Nipun works with volunteers and when we do a project together, he requests that we act like the mycelium network, that we quietly work underground to create beautiful and divine service, to create a sense of being held in something invisible, to know that any hopelessness or helplessness or haplessness that anybody brings into our place is easily supported by this mycelium consciousness, this consciousness of an internet of connection that is unfolding perfectly in all things. Are you with me? Do you believe? Do you believe in the mycelium network? Hallelujah. Thank you, Brother David. Yeah. Funny, the event that I did with Nipun with the mycelium, talking about the mycelium network, we had one of our practitioners who wasn't able to be here today. His name is Peter. Some of you know him, Peter Frank. And Peter was fascinated by the mycelium network. So we told him, it's a fungus, right? Oh, Peter's up there. Hi, Peter. Oh, darn, I can't say what I was going to say because he's going to hear it now. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm going to tell everyone. He knows what it is. Peter was fascinated by the mycelium network, and he was writing about it and speaking about it, and we finally told him, Peter, you put the fun in fungus. So when you see him, tell him, Peter, you put the fun in fungus. We also refer to him as a fun guy, because he is. But people, the truth is that we are all fun guys and fun gals, I suppose. Gals doesn't work as well, because the mycelium network, this interconnection that we all share, is always working. Do you want to hear the story of how we got this beautiful violinist that doesn't even go here to come and play for us? Oh my gosh, it's so cool. You know, I think somehow she heard about Nipun Mehta, and so Nipun is coming in October, and we're connecting together about having her come to that service as well. And then Mary Kerrigan, the choir director, another beautiful practitioner, tells me that all of our violinists are away. They can't play for us. We need a violinist. So I'm like, oh man, where are we going to get a violin, right? So I'm talking about it with some folks, with some people in a staff meeting, and Jennifer Luce, another one of our practitioners, just called you by your maiden name, honey, I'm sorry about that. Jennifer Luce says, well, you know what? My mom's boss. My mom, Susan Seal, another practitioner, her boss is an accomplished violinist. And I said, oh, great, awesome. Think she'd be willing to come? Yeah, maybe. What's her name? Vanessa. Oh, not the Vanessa that Napoon's been telling me about. Oh my gosh. And so I asked her and she said yes. So when you start becoming aware of this interconnection, things like that start to happen all the time. The exact support that you need comes into being, but we have to see it. We have to see it. Most of the time we walk sightless among miracles. We walk sightless among the beauty and the love and the grace and the power and the presence of spirit that is trying to express in our lives, but we're limiting it with our false beliefs. Have you ever looked for something, like a material object, looked for something, and you can't find it, and you can't find it, and then you look in a place where you look 20 times and you finally see it, right? That happened with a broom in our house the other day. We had a broom that we couldn't find, a whole broom, and it wasn't a tiny broom, it was a push broom, it was a big broom. And both Hugh and I looked all over the yard, and we couldn't see it. And then I happened to be strolling by, and I saw where it was, and I told Hugh, I can see the broom from where I'm standing. I was like, you're warmer, you're warmer, you're warmer, you're getting colder, you're getting colder. And it was just in a different place, in a different position than we usually hang it, but we didn't see it. Maybe that is a metaphor for life. Maybe that is a metaphor for that gift that you're looking for from the universe that is waiting for you in an unusual package, in an unusual surprise. You know, in the Enneagram, they say that the flaw is the gift. Maybe it's even waiting in a personal flaw or in a flaw that you discover in somebody else. How about that? I heard over there. Maybe that flaw is a gift for you. Maybe you've discovered a flaw in life, in your own life. Maybe that flaw is a gift for you. But it takes the consciousness to be able to reveal it. And it takes support. Support of those who know the truth about wholeness. And thank goodness, we have all of these practitioners, about 30 of them, I think, I haven't counted lately, that know the truth of wholeness for all of us. I emailed the practitioners to ask them, how do they enjoy invisibly serving in our spiritual center? Now, many of them chose to remain invisible and did not respond to the question. However, I do have some that did, and I'm going to read those off. Jeanette, who couldn't be here today, she says that she is privileged to serve in the bookstore. Bill Seal offers the gift of prayer. Maggie is always in prayer for people. Jill serves our youth. Bernie serves as a quiet invitation to self-discovery, to open the heart to love and kindness. She facilitates courses that deepen the connection with the presence of spirit expressing through each individual. Jonna blesses each new practitioner. Susan Seal enjoys speaking to people she does not recognize in the social hall and welcoming them to our center and answering questions they may have. Lita offers meditations to create sacred connection, gardens to bring beauty. She showcases artists to shine their light. She sits with someone in deep prayer to shift experience and perception. She gives sound healing meditations. Cheryl said that the word receptacle came to mind. She loves being a receptacle for the deepest feelings of her brothers and sisters. And Kim loves working with our amazing preteens. It has been a joy to watch them grow into young adults. And as I was contemplating all of this, as I was receiving these emails of many of the ways, and there are so many more, for every one of these responses, there are hundreds of ways that the practitioners serve us. I was thinking about my own experience. I'm teaching a foundations class right now. It's a big class. There's 40 plus people in it. And so I need the support of practitioners as teaching assistants. And after the first class, which was a lovely experience, it was made lovely, I think, because of the presence of the practitioners. I wrote to them to express my appreciation of them. And this is for anybody who's ever TA'd or anybody who's ever served in this center. And I wrote to them, I was moved to tell you how much I appreciated your brilliant presence in class last night. I can feel this powerful network of subtle support when you're there. I noticed you anticipating the needs of the students, providing handouts, distributing name tags, managing the seating. The wisdom you shared through both your questions and your answers was powerful. Even if you were silent, I felt your support. The invocation and the benediction were beautiful. The activity of welcoming students and helping them relax, preparing handouts, setting up chairs, providing fizzy drinks for us, locking up, helping me avoid backing into that guy's car. I need a lot of help with that all the time. Your humor that bubbled up on many occasions, all seemingly little things that add up to make a huge difference for all of us. Personally speaking, your support allows me to be present to the energy of the circle so I can do my job. I appreciate you so much. You are players in the field of love. Let's give a round of applause again for our players in the field of love. So you see, that's what I mean about the mycelium network. That's what I mean about this invisible support that is always going on. Probably some of you were not aware that practitioners do have that role in our center. And then we can also take that to a farther level and say that even beyond the practitioners, there is so much support in the world for us if we would just allow ourselves to receive it. And that's the question. How do we receive it? I have another practitioner story for you. I forgot to tell this person I was going to tell it, but she won't mind because I've told it before. We have a practitioner, let's call her Jeanette. Oh, we do have a Jeanette. Let's call her Nanette. She might be the office manager in the center. And I was up in San Francisco. I was probably doing something with service space up there, and I was getting ready to fly back to where we live. Where do we live? Ventura, yeah, Ventura, Burbank at the time, and I used to be afraid of flying. I'm not anymore. I figured out how to overcome that, but at that time I still was a little bit afraid of flying, and so I called up Annette about some church business, or Nanette rather, about some church business, And we completed our conversation, and I said, by the way, I just want you to know, I want you to pray for me. I'm about to get into a plane that's the size of a pencil. You know those little planes, those little, 20-seaters? They look like pencils to me, right? Annette said powerful, healing words to me. She said, be the pencil. I don't know what that means. But I do know that if we are looking for invisible support in our lives, either visible or invisible support in our lives, it does help to be the invisible support that we wish to receive. In the words of St. Francis, it is in giving that we receive. I think first what we need to do is to start to learn to see the invisible support by identifying it and naming it, saying, wow, it really helped me when you did that. It really assisted me. It helped me be more present to what I need to do when you helped me with that. And we don't have to only do that at church, but we can certainly practice here. We can do that with our families, in our workplaces. You know, there is that little shyness, that little resistance that comes up when we start to do that, but just breathe through that and see if we can start identifying all of the invisible, or at least some of the invisible support that is available for us. And then the other thing is be the pencil. Be the invisible support that you long to see. See if you can cleverly come up with ways to be in anonymous support for other beings. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Handing somebody a name tag in a class doesn't have to be a big thing. Showing someone where the restroom is. Helping somebody, all kinds of things. Maybe parking far away from the church so somebody can park closer, since I've heard we have a little parking issue here. I don't know. I shouldn't have said that because I have a parking space. I'm so sorry. If anybody wants my parking space, we can talk, okay? Because I'm willing to give it up. I'm willing to give that invisible support now that I'm telling everybody, right? But there are all kinds of ways that we can support invisibly and visibly. It doesn't matter if somebody knows. But if we could all just kind of look at that and see if we can expand our support in this matrix, in this mycelium complex that is both the underground internet and the internet and the interconnection net that connects all of life. I think that's really what changes the world. It may not be the big things. You know, if we have a problem, we want something to come out of the sky like a bolt from the blue and tell us what to do. But maybe it's all of those little quiet moments of invisible support that really lift us into that greater consciousness. And from that consciousness, we midwife, sometimes clumsily, but we midwife the coming of a new world where peace is supreme and where we learn to be love, share love, and serve love. In that place, we know that at one time, yes, we did walk sightless among miracles. But in this new place of being love, sharing love, serving love through invisible support, we say to ourselves and we proclaim to each other that we were once clay, touched by God, that we walked sightless among miracles. But now we can see it. We can see it. We can live it. We can love it. Invisible support for all. Let's love that now. Let us pray. I turn within to trust and know that there truly is one power, one life, one support that is God's life, that is love, that is peace, that is joy, that is that which embraces the world of opposites, the wholeness that encompasses everything, that this is our life right here, right now, and that we live it in joy and in freedom and in peace. I know that this power and this, I'm losing my voice. Will you come up and do the prayer? I need to get a drink. Will you get me a drink? Thanks, Doreen. Talk about support, right? Here.
How magnificent it is to know that right where we stand, we have that power and presence within us that already says yes to support in any possible way. And that even in that moment when we're scared to say yes, that in that yes comes absolutely everything we need to provide us and guide us and show us the way easily and effortlessly. Just like right now when I was asked to do this and not knowing what to say or to do, I just stand here and recognize this power and presence within me, this love, and knowing that it carries me throughout my week, throughout my day, throughout everything in life. And so with this chance to say yes, spontaneously, I am so grateful and know that everything today is perfect and that this service helped continue to uplift us in recognizing the truth of who we are. And so it is. Amen.
Bless your heart. Thank you so much, Doreen. I am so blessed.
Begin it, gonna bring love to the world. I'm gonna bring my hands and work some wonders. On the way I must say there might be some wonders. Pull the shackles that bind me all asunder. Gonna bring love to the world. All we go through, we can know right now. And all we can do cannot show right now. It's up to me and you to act and go right now. Gonna bring love to the world. some blindness. Where the Spirit wants to move, that is where you'll find us. Gonna bring